Welcome back to pregame.tv. Saturday college basketball action. My hometown Pitt Panthers travel to play North Carolina. Guys, what a game Wednesday night. Syracuse and Pitt. And, you know, I got to tell you, it was Big East. I know it was an ACC game, but that was Big East basketball. Mm-hmm. What I love, the physical game, low scoring, battling inside. You know, not fun to watch. You know, you're not going to see them going up and down the floor, but how does Pitt pick themselves up after that loss? You know, and I'm a big Pitt backer, but I got to tell you, this is a bad spot. And it's the same thing with Syracuse. That saved their undefeated season, winning like that in a game that, you know, Pitt pretty much had to lead most of the game. Pretty much. Let me tell you that in the second half, Pitt led for all but 5 seconds. 5 point something is all they trailed, and then, of course, the final score. Syracuse scored 7 straight at the end of the game to take the 1 point lead with 10.4 left in the game. Pitt inbounds, drives up the court. Kid goes for the layup, gets fouled, makes both fouls. I'm thinking, you know, the pressure, you know, the kid, he's going to make maybe 1 out of 2, and we're going to overtime. I really thought we were going to look at overtime there. And it's the same kid, though. It was Ennis that made the 2 free throws. Ennis that hits the game winner. He's a freshman. He's unbelievable. He's a special player. But I will tell you that both these teams are offensively challenged. As good as Syracuse is in their undefeated record, they shoot the way they did against Pittsburgh, against somebody else that can shoot it a little better. They could be out of the tournament much earlier than you think. These teams let teams hang around, and I'll say that about Florida, too. And I've got a future on Florida. As good as their defense is, they don't shoot the ball real well, as many players as they have. Again, a lot of times you keep teams in there that shouldn't be in there. We were talking before we come on air, so I'll ask you guys the question again. You know, everybody likes to second guess every game after they're done. It's easy. And you talk to a lot of coaches, Chuck. Jamie Dixon, was it the right call to call timeout and set your defense, or should you let them inbound and just go up the floor helter-skelter? I think he made sure that his defense knew what he wanted to keep every Syracuse player in front of them, didn't want anybody to get behind him. So I have no problem with the timeout. It was the right thing. In fact, Ennis, who gets the game winner, was not the first option. C.J. Fair was the first option, but Pitt did such a good job defensively, they took Fair away. So just a great shot. You had talked earlier about how does Pitt bounce back here? I think it'd be different if Pitt was playing good ball right now, but they've been struggling lately. I mean, they're winning some games. Would they have to go to double overtime to beat Virginia Tech or something the other day? Not a very good team. Which, again, was a great look-ahead spot because they had the Syracuse game up next. But still, anytime you have to go to double overtime in a game that pretty much they struggled the entire game, and then they get a game like that where they actually, in my opinion, they outplayed Syracuse and lost it. It's been 3 or 4 games here, 4 or 5 games, where they have not played well. And now, if they'd been playing really well and this happened, these things happen. But they are struggling a lot right now. And I don't know what your play is on here, but I do question how they're going to come out and play this game. They rely too much on Patterson. He's really their only scorer. And Zana, he plays well inside. He gets the most of what he's got, and he was 8 out of 9 from the line last night to keep them in the game, including the 2 that gave him the lead with 4.4 to go. 8 out of 9 for a 61% free throw shooter. You'll take that all day. Yeah, like I said, I thought we were going to overtime. I'm saying he's going to make 1 out of 2 here. Jamie did too, and you saw Dixon sitting down for the first one. I think he expected him to miss the first one, and he got up off that bench as soon as he made the first one because then he knew he was even. I said, please put the first one in so that you're free rolling on the second one because you don't want him having the pressure of shooting the second one. You know what, guys? This is my free pick. Let's make it official. All right, guys. You know I have all kinds of different angles, and I have goofy names for some of them. Well, this Pitt one, this falls into what I like to call I've fallen and I can't get up. There's just no way this team can get up after that performance on Wednesday night. Pitt, undefeated Syracuse comes into their building. Now, just the fact that it's a #1 team and it's undefeated, that's enough. But add the fact that this is one of the old rivals that Pitt battled for all those years in the Big East Conference. The 2 of them moved to the ACC this year, and it made it even bigger of a rivalry and a big game for Pitt. And in the Peterson Event Center, believe it or not, that building's 12 years old. I really didn't believe that it's that old already. That is the first time since they built that building that Pitt had lost to a top 5 team. They were 9-0 in their previous 9 games against top 5 teams. 13-1 against top 10 teams in that building. Pitt gave everything they had in that game, and they came up short. And I know a lot of people are going to look at that game, and they have maybe not watched Pitt before, and they're going to say, wow, hey, this Pitt team's better than we thought. They almost beat Syracuse, and they're going to want to take them to bounce back in the next game. I firmly believe that when a team gives everything they have like they did in a game like that, you don't come out with your best effort. I would rather take a team off a win in a game like that because it's a momentum builder. Yeah, you can have a little bit of a letdown, but more often than not, that sparks a team. And I would have had Pitt on Saturday if they beat Syracuse, and I know a lot of people wouldn't, but I would have. I'm going to take North Carolina here. North Carolina didn't play on Wednesday night. That was one of the things. As soon as the Pitt game was over, I ran to my iPhone, looked to see who Pitt was playing next because I said this is a go-get spot, and they were playing North Carolina. But I wasn't sure. I knew the North Carolina game was canceled, but I didn't know when they were going to reschedule it, if they were going to move it just one day or not. But they didn't, so they've got rest because North Carolina would have been coming off a rivalry game 2, which would have negated some of this play. I'll take North Carolina. I expect the line in this game to be somewhere 3.5, 4 points. I think North Carolina wins this by 7 or more. I'll take North Carolina on Saturday. Let's lay the points with the Tar Heel as they take care of my Pitt Panthers. That's my free play here on pregame.tv. We're going to be back next. We've got another free play. Well, actually, we've got 2 more plays coming, and they're going to both be coming from our man, Chuck. And I have a feeling he's going to be doing a little bit of chirping in one of the videos coming up. But next, it'll be UNLV at Utah State.